Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Technical Arco and myself Arnab Kundu. Today we are going to learn one of the most important topics in Python, how to take inputs in different ways, right? So at first we will learn how to take normal input in Python using input function. Then we will learn how to take inputs in Python list, and then we will dive into how to take inputs for an array using array module, and then we will learn how to take input in NumPy array, and finally we will learn how to take inputs into Pandas DataFrame. Okay, array module in Python is a built-in module, but NumPy and Pandas are not inbuilt module, so we need to install this module to do the operation. For NumPy is concerned, this module is used for array and mathematical operations and manipulations. Okay, and for Pandas module is concerned, it is used for data analysis and data manipulation. Okay, so go to the computer screen, step by step using Python. Ideally, I will discuss today's topic. Okay, so let's start. So friends, I'm just within my Python IDE, and here I will write today's code. And today we are discussing most important topics in Python, how to take inputs in different ways. Okay, so at first we go for the normal input. Okay, so in that case we take in that way, just write a equal, and then suppose we take input in form of integer, because we know input function is actually take input in form of string, then we convert it into integer. So that's why we write in that way int, and then we use this input function, and then we just write as an interactive way, enter a number. Okay, and then put a colon and then double quote int, parenthesis close, and then if we just print the result, so just write print a. So if we save this file, just go to file, save, put a name, suppose, so just write the name of the file is user underscore input, and extension is already know for Python is concerned .py, and press enter. Okay, so just checked the name is given user underscore input .py. So if we run this code, just press F5, so enter a number, suppose write 12, yes, it print 12. So this is a normal input. Okay, for floating point we just change it into float, just convert it into float, and same way if we run it and suppose put 45.20 as input, yes, it convert into float, because input is taken in form of string, then it convert into floating point. Okay, so input function is needed in Python to take the user input. Okay, now we take input in the list. How? So in that case what happened, we at first we take a blank list, suppose just write l equal square bracket open close. Okay, and then we just write in that way n equal, and just we write here how many elements we want to input. Okay, so just write n equal int, and then same way write input, and then just write enter number of elements. Okay, colon double quote int, parenthesis close, and then we use the for loop. So just write for I in, and just use here the range, put in, and then we took the input for the element is concerned. So in that case we take another variable num, and then same way integer input, so just write int, and within parentheses write input, and then just write enter element. Okay, and then put colon, then double quote int, parenthesis close, and now we append it within the list using append method, which is the inbuilt method of the list. So just write here l dot append, and send the element within the variable store num. Okay, so in that way every element just stored within this list, or number of element present in the list is concerned, and after that if we just print l, and if we print l, so it will print all the elements of the list. Okay, so if we save it and again run, press F5, so enter number of elements, suppose put 5, so 5 element we should enter. So 10, 20, 30, 45, 96. Yes, this is the list elements, and we take inputs within the list, right? Now go for the third one. We are take inputs for an array using array module, which is an inbuilt module in the Python. So in that case, at first we import array as ARR. We just create the alias, and then what we create an empty array. Okay, so in that case we just write a equal, and then just write a double r dot array, and then we just in that way just write I for integer is concerned, and then put a blank square bracket open close. Okay, and then same way, how many elements we want to put in the array, just write in the in. So n equal int, then write input, enter number of elements. Okay, then colon, then double quotient, parenthesis close. Okay, and then we use the for loop. So just write for I in range, same way as we take in the list is concerned. Okay, and then we take the elements one after another. So again same way, num equal, just write int input, and then just write enter element. Okay, and then colon, then double quotient, parenthesis close. Okay, now we will append it within the array. So same way, just write a dot append and send the element. Okay, and after that we just print the array. So check whatever the element we are input, it will show or not. So just print a. Okay, save it, press F5, enter number of elements, suppose 4, just put 1, 5, 90, 78. Yes, the array contain 4 elements. It's ordered, the array list both are ordered, so that's why whatever the elements we put as an input, this sequence is maintained when it will give the result. Okay, now go for the another example for how to take inputs into NumPy array. Okay, so in that case same way, so we change it in that way. We don't put this array for module is concerned. We use here NumPy as NP, because this NumPy module is needed to take input within this NumPy array is concerned. Okay, and after that same way we create an empty array using NumPy module. So in that case we just use here a equal, and then just write np dot array, and then we just put square bracket open close empty, then put a comma, and then just write, and then send another argument is a d type. So just write d type equal, we sent all the elements as an integer, so just send the value is int. Okay, so we just create the empty array using NumPy module, and then what we do the same way, how many numbers we want to enter as an element is concerned. So then we checked n equal int, and then we take the input, enter number of elements. Okay, put colon, double quotient, parenthesis close. Now we use the for loop, and same way use the range, I in range, and send this n, because number of element is n. Okay, and we already know range is concerned, if we put only n, that means suppose 5 elements, so it's go from 0 to 4. So index will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we take the inputs for each and every element is concerned. Same way, use num equal int, and then use this input, then just write it in double quote, enter element, put a colon, then double quotient, parenthesis close. Okay, now we use an append method of this NumPy, but this append method is not the same as your list. This append method of NumPy module is concerned, it actually create a new array. Okay, so that's why we need to send 2 arguments when we call this append method, and then we just write in that way a equal, and then just write np dot append, and then we just send 1 is your a, because this is the original array, the empty array, and then we send which element we want to insert. So every time it will create a new array, because np.append, this method returns a new array. Okay, that's why we need these 2 arguments, a comma num. Okay, and then we just print the NumPy array, just write print a. Okay, and then save it, and then press F5. So enter number of elements, so suppose 5, enter element 12, 90, 78, 2, 6. Yes, the NumPy array is already created using user input, and the same sequence Y isn't ordered, right? And then now go for the final example in the data frame, how to take the inputs. Okay, so same way for the data frame is concerned, we need to be import the pandas module. So just write pandas, import pandas as pd, suppose. Now just write df equal and then just write pd dot data frame and then put a parenthesis and then put a curly brace, and then we use in a pair, we already know in key and value, in that pair is stored the data. Suppose we create in that way, one is a name, put a colon, this will be taken as an user input. Okay, so in that case we just write here input and then suppose write in double quote enter name. Okay, and then we use, after that just write dot split. Okay, as a split is concerned, we don't put anything, that means we are entering the name with space. If we put comma, so then we put within this parenthesis within single quote comma, right? So first input is done. After we go for the second input, suppose we put here age. Okay, now we are entering the data for the age. So in that case we are converting to a list. That's why we are at first using the list constructor, and then we use the map. This particular function is an inbuilt function in Python. It is used to apply a function to every element in a iterable. Okay, so list, and then we used map, and then we convert it into integer because age in integer, and then we just write here input, and then we write enter age. Okay, and suppose we put this age as a separation is a comma, so just write split and within single quote just write comma. Okay, clear? And all the parentheses should be closed properly, and then put a comma, and the last input just write here suppose city, and it is also a string, so don't need to be convert, so just write input, so just write enter city. Okay, put a colon, we just open the single quote, so single quote close, then close this parenthesis, then dot split, and same way we don't need to be comma, we put a space for separation for cities concern. So you already write the code for input, for the user input for the pandas data frame, right? And then we close this curly brace and then close this parenthesis. Okay, now we just print the data in form of table, because already know the data frame is actually present the data in form of table format, row and column format. So name, age, city at the column, and whatever the input are provided is just go in form of row. Okay, so just write here print df dot to underscore string. For eliminating the index, just put here false, parenthesis close, parenthesis close. Okay, now we save it, and now just run press F5. So enter a name, so we suppose put 3 names for 3 row is concerned. Suppose we put at first Arnab, then put space, then put suppose Amit, then put space, then suppose we put Shudip, press enter. Enter age, now put a comma, right? Suppose 40 comma 30 comma 45, press enter. Enter city, suppose write in that way Kolkata, then space Delhi, space Mumbai, space enter. So just see the data frame took input, and then it prints in a table format name, age, city. In a name is the column, first column, age is the second column, city is the third column, and the row contains whatever the value we put, right? I hope you have understood how to take inputs in Python in different ways, in normal input, in list, in array module, in NumPy array, and also in the pandas data frame. Array module is the inbuilt module in the Python, but NumPy and pandas are not the inbuilt, so we need to install it. Okay, for NumPy is concerned, it is used for the arrays and the mathematical operation and manipulations. For pandas is concerned, it is used for data manipulation and data analysis. Okay, I hope you have understood today's video. If you have some doubts for today's video is concerned, just write in the comment section. I will try to solve this problem. Those who are still not subscribed my channel, please subscribe it. Keep watching Technical Arcane for more videos. So today up to this. Thank you and bye bye.